Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Do you love Mario Kart, but the only game you have is RollerCoaster Tycoon? Well, fear not, as now you can play Mario Kart inside RollerCoaster Tycoon. NE Designs user Big Shooter Jill has constructed a massive park with 16 Mario Kart tracks inspired by actual tracks from the Mario Kart games. It took a year to build and was submitted to New Element in June 2017. Like most parks on there, it heavily uses custom scenery items to achieve a level of detail that the standard set of scenery items simply cannot provide. Jill also created a brochure where you can read some information about the park and the tracks, which is a very nice touch and something that a lot of people do when submitting parks to New Element. If you want to take a look at the park yourself, you can download it from the New Element page, link in the description. The park starts with a beautiful entrance area that is very reminiscent of Mario's castle. Just look at the attention to detail, it's absolutely phenomenal. From here you can choose which of the 16 tracks you go to, so let's take a look at all of them one by one. Just like in any real Mario Kart game, they are split up into 4 cups with 4 tracks each, and the first is the Mushroom Cup, which starts with Baby Park. Baby Park is a very small track and extremely similar to the actual Baby Park. It even has a roller coaster going through it, just like the original one from Mario Kart Double Dash. I love the combination of the blue, pink and white for the track and the queue line, it works very well. Just like the Baby Park in Mario Kart DS, this track requires 5 laps to be completed instead of the standard 3, making for a very hectic course. The entrance building is absolutely lovely and so is the one for the coaster. Next up is Moo Moo Farm, which has that rustic style that I absolutely love. There are many beautiful farm buildings here, including a windmill and cows absolutely everywhere. There are also these annoying moles that will always jump out of the ground at the most inconvenient moments possible, screwing over your victory. Another interesting detail, which you will also see on other courses, is these advertisement banners, which you would absolutely have if this was a real track. The third course of the Mushroom Cup is Luigi Raceway, which very much resembles an actual racing track. From the garage with Yoshi, Peach and Luigi to the stands with hundreds of spectators cheering the racers on. Like in any other theme park, there are also plenty of restaurants here, and one of them is this building from where you can watch Luigi Raceway. On the side there are 2 bumper car rides named after minigames in Mario Kart. This one is called Bob-omb Blast and the other one is the best minigame of all, Balloon Battle, except I almost always lost as my friend was much better than me. The last track is Thwomp Ruins, which unsurprisingly has a lot of thwomps that will crush you if you're not careful. This track is just beautiful and has lots of great details. There are loads of ruined blocks of concrete below the deck with the 4 thwomps on it, as if they have thwomp stomped so hard that the stuff just fell off. This tunnel is also fantastically made. They go in here through a cool entrance and then come out of the other side before jumping over the exit line. If the go-kart doesn't take your fancy, you can also go on the launch tree fall next to it. And that is the Mushroom Cup, which consisted of Baby Park, Moo Moo Farm, Luigi Raceway and Thwomp Ruins. 4 fairly easy tracks that get you warmed up for the other 3 cups. My favorite out of these is Moo Moo Farm, just because I really like the rustic style. The next cup is the Flower Cup, which really starts to ramp up the difficulty. The first one is not so difficult yet though, which is Mario Circuit. It's quite a basic track, but it has some nice details, mainly Peach's castle. The pink works very well with the grey here and Peach herself will cheer you on when you drive past it. The second track is Shy Guy Falls, which is absolutely amazing. There are a few small jumps at the start, but then you climb this epic waterfall, take a bridge over the river and then jump down it, trying to avoid the mine train coaster tracks on your way down. The waterfall is so beautifully made, with tons of details everywhere. Flowers, rocks, water splashing, footpaths, it really has everything. This track is accompanied by a mine train coaster, which has especially cool tunnel entrances. A very interesting detail is that if you rotate the screen, you can see a mine inside of the mountain. There are mine carts, a lift, a big wheel and some shy guys running it all. Next up is Dry Desert, which has all the elements you'd expect from a desert themed track. Quicksand, pokies, sand tornadoes and of course those sweet, sexy train tracks. Like most obstacles in this park, they don't actually have any effect, as you can't really do that in RollerCoaster Tycoon, but if we just pretend the guests are all perfect drivers and avoid every single obstacle, it still works. Next to the track are some shops and stalls in saloon style buildings, which complement it nicely. Lastly, there is Waluigi Stadium, which is a very compact track inside a massive stadium seating thousands of guests. Once again, great attention to detail, not just from a RollerCoaster Tycoon perspective, but also from a Mario Kart perspective. On the hills you can see these red bits, which represent the boosters in the game that give you extra speed to clear the jump. Other than that, I'm just in awe of how well the stadium is put together. There are supports, these pipes, advertisements and massive lights. That concludes the Flower Cup with Mario Circuit, Shy Guy Falls, Dry Desert and Waluigi Stadium. It was a bit more intense than the Mushroom Cup and had my favorite track so far in the form of Shy Guy Falls. We're now halfway through and the next cup is the Star Cup, which will take us from the coldest peaks to the hottest ravines, starting with the always amazing Yoshi Island. On the face of it, this track doesn't look that special. Sure, the buildings are nice and the narrow track is quite challenging with all the curves, but it's nothing we haven't seen before. Except when you look at the entire island from above, you can see that it has the shape of Yoshi. This is taken straight from the Mario Kart games, and since there you can see an actual proper top-down view instead of an isometric view, it works even better. Now we move to the jungle for DK Mountain, named after the great Donkey Kong himself. On this track, players drive all around a massive jungle hill while traversing several obstacles. One we haven't seen before is this cannon, which shoots the carts all the way up to the top of the mountain. My favorite detail on this track is this ravine, which has lots of crashed carts in it. We even see Lucky2 picking one up to put it back on the track, but unfortunately it seems that the driver that was in it has already perished and disappeared. We go even higher into the mountains, all the way to the icy peaks of Mount Wario. This is a snowy and slippery track that will have you tumbling down the side of the hill if you're not careful. The main feature is a dammed reservoir which is slowly letting water through, and the guests have to keep their cart steady on the waterfalls. No worries though, as there is a massive helicopter to save you if you get stuck. On the other side of the mountain you can see Wario just chilling next to a campfire and some bobsled cars. From the absolute cold of Mount Wario we go to the skin melting heat of Grumble Volcano. This track is particularly dangerous as one wrong move will burn you alive. Other than that slightly terrifying aspect, it's a really cool, or should I say hot, course. The lava streams through the mountain are very well done and look quite realistic to me. I really like this gate with the skeletons on top of it, warning the peeps about what has happened to the previous racers. The mountain also has a fun detail on the back, as you can see the racers drive under the waterfall of lava. With that, the Star Cup is finished, and what a journey it was. One dinosaur-shaped island called Yoshi Island and 3 equally epic mountains in the form of DK Mountain, Mount Wario and Grumble Volcano. There is now only one cup left, and its tracks are even more thrilling and awesome, the Special Cup. To give the racers a bit of respite before the intense 3-track finale, we begin with Koopa Beach. Apart from it just being a pretty beach, the thing that stands out most are the 2 very well constructed Cheep Cheeps. Despite the fact that the eyes are actually windows, they are unmistakably a Cheep Cheep. What's also very cool is this dolphin jumping out of the water across the track. Next to it we have a nice beach town with a variety of huts and buildings that all look very pretty. And now, at last, it's time for the finale, starting with Bowser's Castle, and what a track this is. There is lava, difficult jumps, thwomps and lots of dry bone statues to remind you of what will happen to you if you lose. The footbridge over the track gives the guests a great view of the race, although they don't seem to be particularly interested for some reason. The castle itself is also really well done. The entrance is very intimidating, with the flaming mouth and the spikes resembling those on Bowser's back. The lava mode is intense, and if you're lucky you might even see the elusive fire snake jump out of it. The penultimate course is Ghost Valley, which is where all of Bowser's victims reside. The track itself consists of a very broken boardwalk with holes everywhere, making it easy to fall off. Around it is a great atmosphere of death, with the void holes, booze everywhere and lots of puffs of smoke. One very interesting thing is that there are two possible paths that the guests can take, and they work. Sometimes the guests will take one route and the other time they will take the other route. This isn't random though, the track simply goes around twice on almost the exact same layout except here. You can also see this on a few other tracks in this park, like Shy Guy Falls. And now we move on to the final and most iconic track, Rainbow Road. A terrifying rainbow highway through the vast emptiness of space. Every iteration of Mario Kart has had some version of it, and this park is no different. The track itself isn't too difficult, but with very few fences it's very easy to fall off, which costs a lot of time. I really love this part, where the carts are pushed up by wind currents generated through big floating wind turbines. The planets are wonderful details, and so are the Mario stars on the other side. If the racetrack is too intense for you, there is also a nice space train that you can take instead. And with that we have completed the final cup of Mario Kart RollerCoaster Tycoon 2 edition. From the calm Koopa Beach to the exhilarating 3-track finale consisting of Bowser's Castle, Ghost Valley and Rainbow Road. We have now seen all 16 tracks in the park and they were all just amazing. Jill did an absolutely wonderful job on everything, from the general idea to the details in both a RollerCoaster Tycoon sense and a Mario Kart sense. The park has loads more details that I didn't show in this video, and I absolutely encourage you to download it and have a look. If you want to see a more in-depth analysis of the park, I can recommend this video made by Brian Andrelzik, who is a real theme park designer. One last thing I like to do in these kinds of parks is remove all the scenery to see how much will remain, and as usual it's barely anything. Most of the tracks are entirely gone, lots of land is gone as well, as it was made out of fake scenery land pieces, and the true square shape of the park is revealed, as the edges are no longer hidden by scenery items that have the same color as the background. And that was Mario Kart All Cup Tour by Big Shooter Jill. If you enjoyed it, I recommend this video about a park that changes seasons when you rotate the screen. Thank you all for watching and I will see you in the next video.